Next, on Currents News, day 2 at the ballpark turned medical facility. A lot quieter than any Mets game. Shots at Citi Field were supposed to be a home run.
But for now, the mega site only has enough doses to vaccinate 200 people. That's a few shots and a lot of confusion. I'm Jessica Easthope with how Citi Field is picking up the pieces and promising a better experience.
Could the U.S. restrict domestic travel? That's the big question tonight as a COVID variant surges in Florida. And the Trump trial. It's the last day of arguments for the acting prosecutors. The defense begins on Friday. Then the art of appreciation. Students honor their masked heroes that work right across the street. The news starts right now. Good evening, I'm Christine Persichetti. Well, the crowds are gone, but the confusion remains as Citi Field's mega vaccine site opens for its second day. 200 people with appointments got their first shot, but your shot at getting an appointment could be slim. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more from Citi Field.
Imagine waiting weeks to get an appointment for a vaccine, taking the bus, train, or even walking through the snow to Citi Field. And then when you get here, you're turned away.
I don't see it in the schedule. I'm going to come downstairs.
That was the reality for many.
They told me it was 10:30.
Debbie Graham walks with a cane. She came to Citi Field Thursday morning for her first vaccine. She had given all her information over the phone and made an appointment.
I thought I would have no problem today getting in for my the shots.
And what did they tell you?
They told me they don't have anything on record. They don't have my appointment on record.
But Debbie got lucky.
Very angry. So,
Debbie, how old are you?
I am 63. I'll be 64 soon.
And you have an appointment for today or no?
Yes, I did have an appointment.
Okay.
I called on the phone.
All right,
And
why don't
they
you
said,
come with me? I'm going to take you upstairs. We're going to figure it out.
Are you a TLT driver?
Yes, I told you.
Not everyone had the same experience. For others, it went smoothly.
Simple process, just go in and get a shot.
Are you with the
This week, the megasite is only vaccinating 200 people a day. That leaves a lot of people out. But Mayor Bill de Blasio said the city had a plan to get people the information they need.
And we're also going to have people out here to help sign people up. But you can't just come here and walk in. You have to have an appointment in advance. We don't want lines of people. That's not safe. But if people come here, there will be navigators to help them sign up for a future appointment.
People here say that wasn't the case.
An appointment. Come back when you have an appointment. Okay, thank you.
After desperately trying to book an appointment by calling the city hotline and going online for more than a month, Carlos Feliz, who is eligible because of his job as a security guard and maintenance worker, came to Citi Field looking for answers.
We're not trying to get the vaccine today.
Okay.
We're just trying to get the appointment.
Sure.
But he didn't get the one he hoped for.
It is frustrating. I just came here and the guy is just telling me that I still got to do the same thing. Go online or call the number that I have been calling for a while already.
It was the same answer they gave several others.
So I would recommend checking about every 3 hours.
In less than 2 weeks, Citi Field will be able to vaccinate up to 5,000 people a day. We reached out to the city about how it plans to control the crowds and handle situations like we saw today. But our request was not answered. In Flushing, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
New York now has 19 COVID-only nursing homes throughout the state. That's according to a letter released by New York Health Commissioner Howard Zucker to state lawmakers who oversee those facilities. The state set them up to treat patients recovering from the virus who are discharged from hospitals. Governor Andrew Cuomo has been criticized over his handling of the virus at nursing homes, and the state health department accused of underreporting deaths there. The new and more highly contagious COVID variants has the Biden administration weighing whether to impose restrictions on domestic travel, according to multiple reports. The new strains are popping up all over the country and are spreading quickly in states like Florida and California, causing concern that they could be resistant to vaccines. The new variants are causing up to 15% of new infections. Officials say no policy changes are imminent and that decisions will be made in consultation with state and local governments. Now to the impeachment trial in the nation's capital, where managers are wrapping up their case against former President Donald Trump. But despite Democrats' arguments, many Republicans remain unconvinced. Nadia Romero has the latest from Washington.
House impeachment managers finishing their arguments against former President Donald Trump.
This was not a hidden crime.
A day after showing chilling video of the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. Prosecutors on their final day explaining why they believe Trump incited the insurrection.
We were invited by the President of the United States! Their own statements before, during, and after the attack make clear the attack was done for Donald Trump, at his instructions, and to fulfill his wishes.
He intended the events of January 6th to happen, and when it did, he delighted in it.
President Trump declared his conduct totally appropriate.
President Trump's lack of remorse and refusal to take accountability after the attack poses its own unique and continuing danger.
Despite the disturbing video evidence presented during the course of this trial, many Republicans remain unswayed and are expected to acquit the former president.
The not guilty vote is growing.
Trump's team will respond to the House's case on Friday.
The tragedy that happened here at the Capitol, lives lost, that had nothing whatsoever to do with President Trump, but they want you to believe that it did.
In Washington, Nadia Romero, Currents News.
A new report on the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border shows illegal border crossings have surged 200% since this time last year. That news is prompting the Biden administration to open another tent city to detain migrants in Texas. The Border Patrol says the number of people arrested at the border spiked to nearly 78,000 in January, up from 36,000 in 2020. Part of the reason for the rise is poverty and gang violence made worse by the devastating hurricanes that hit Central America late last year. And now U.S. bishops are appealing to the Biden administration, asking that people from the countries hit by those hurricanes not be deported. In a letter, the bishops urge the administration to grant 18-month temporary protected status to people from El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, writing, in addition to providing life-saving humanitarian assistance to populations in need, the U.S. has a moral responsibility to provide foreign nationals from these countries currently present in the U.S. temporary humanitarian protection. Pope Francis was presented with an ancient manuscript from northern Iraq just weeks before the pontiff's scheduled visit there. The book contains liturgical prayers for the Easter season and dates back more than 500 years. The manuscript had been kept in a Catholic cathedral in Caracas and was rescued after the church was set on fire by the Islamic State during their occupation of the town from 2014 to 2016. Pope Francis is scheduled to visit the cathedral during his March trip. Currents News and The Tablet are planning full coverage of the Holy Father's historic visit. And speaking of The Tablet, DeSales Media's newspaper is adding a new online feature that's going to offer a personal touch to their readers. Currents News' Jessica Easthope explains.
A new personalized experience on the Tablet website will soon be up and running. With a free login that requires just a name and email, DeSales Media Group's newspaper will be allowing readers to customize, filtering out what they don't want and getting access to more of what they do, like exclusive articles, features, columns, as well as the Tablet's online archive.
This is a way for us to connect with them a little bit more and for them to connect with us and personalize the experience so that they get the information and news that they want when they want it. There's a few questions.
Vito Formica, the executive director of news content and development for DeSales Media Group, the Tablet's parent company, says the feature is the latest way DeSales is reaching out to readers.
At the end of the day, our mission is to evangelize, and we use all of our platforms at DeSales within the news department, television, newspaper, print, digital, to reach our audience.
Improving communication is at the top of the list of priorities for DeSales Media's digital team. Tablet readers will now be able to tailor the surge of news and information without slowing it down.
Because the tablet produces so much content and a broad interest, what we're trying to do is help the readers find the most valuable information most quickly.
Readers who don't sign up will still be able to view thetablet.org, and it will still be free. The login feature is being rolled out on February 15th.
This is what your profile page would look like.
And starting then, when readers click on certain content, they'll be prompted to create a login.
The way this whole system works is, right, so if you're a visitor to the Tablet website, a regular visitor to the Tablet website, and you log in and you create this profile, the more that you read, like, rate, and save articles, the more tailored your experience is going to become.
And for readers who still like the feeling of a newspaper in their hands, the print version of the tablet will have more content than what's online. And subscribing is a great way to support our mission. Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
If you want to be part of our mission, as Jessica mentioned, it's easy. Just head over to the Tablet website at thetablet.org. And starting this Monday, February 15th, you'll be able to sign up for customized and exclusive content. And something else you can't miss: on Wednesday, February 17th, Net TV will be airing the Ash Wednesday Mass from the Vatican. Again, that's Wednesday, February 17th, starting at 3:30 p.m. right here on Net TV. Still to come on Currents News, small children in the Diocese of Brooklyn honoring their neighbors who happen to be big heroes.
Every day, hundreds of hospital employees pass by this Catholic academy on their way to work, and soon that walk will be a whole lot more inspirational. I'm Emily Druby, and that Catholic Schools Week story is ahead.
And have you gone back to church yet? Find out which diocese is making Sunday Mass an obligation again. And would you guess these houses are in Crown Heights, Brooklyn? The community was a haven for some of the first free African Americans in New York. Coming up, a history you may have passed right by.
Starting February 15th, changes are coming to the Tablet website. You can get personalized access to the Catholic news you value. Sign up for free at thetablet.org.
Welcome back. As we continue to celebrate Catholic Schools Week, today we're shining a light on some very gifted students from St. Xavier Catholic Academy in Brooklyn who decided to use their artistic talents to honor healthcare workers. Currents News' Emily Druby has the story from Park Slope.
There's new artwork hanging on the side of St. Xavier Catholic Academy. Portraits of healthcare workers, a symbol of the school's commitment to their Park Slope community. The idea transforming an act of hate, done to art originally on display outside of New York Presbyterian Brooklyn Methodist Hospital.
There was a mural hanging up. It had been defaced by someone.
Cruel words scribbled across what was supposed to be a beautiful symbol of thanks. A parent alerted Principal Susan Walsh to the vandalism, suggesting maybe the students could fix it.
We thought about it for a little bit, and we didn't want to kind of interfere with the integrity of the artist's work. And so we thought we would maybe do our own take on a thank you artwork.
So they did come up with their own take. The artist of the original pieces has since fixed some of his work, but the giant thanks that accompanies them remains tarnished, its future uncertain. But these new pieces are a symbol of thanks and support.
We have the children's artwork as just another way to bring kind of a positive spirit as people in our neighborhood are walking by.
Also creating and displaying this inspirational word garden.
I'm thankful for them, and I am glad they are working so hard for our country.
The school hopes that because of their close proximity to the hospital, the pieces will greet healthcare heroes on their way to work. How do you think they're going to feel?
I think they're going to feel excited and awesome.
The gesture is part of a larger lesson, one important to Catholic education.
As Catholics and as Catholic children, we want to show people how much we really care. And so we're showing them through our words and our actions.
Showcasing their Catholic values by bringing light and positivity to the neighborhood. In Park Slope, Brooklyn, Emily Druby, Currents News.
Catholic schools throughout the Diocese of Brooklyn have been celebrating all week. On Tuesday, it was Career Day at St. Mel's, and on Wednesday, we watched as students at St. Stan's tried to stump the bishop. Here now to tell us more about the benefits of a Catholic education is the Vicar for Catholic Schools, Monsignor David Casado. And Monsignor, the best part is these schools have been open since the beginning of this pandemic. How did that happen? How was that possible?
God's help and a lot of work on the part of our faculty, administrators, and all of us. I mean, it really was a whole lot of work. But I got to tell you a great story. The other day, I went into the second grade in my school, and they celebrated 100 days of school. We've had 100 days of school. Can you imagine? People are still trying to open schools. We've celebrated 100 days of being open. And what a great tribute to the principals, the faculty, the teachers, and the kids and their parents.
Right.
Parents have trusted us and have come and have really done a wonderful job. The kids, I love the kids. I see them these past few days with the snow. They haven't been in the schoolyard, but it's been a wonderful experience, Christine.
Now I have to talk about the latest numbers from the diocese show 40% of our schools have either stabilized or increased their student populations this year. So why do you think that is, and how's enrollment looking for next year?
Well, we're praying that we get a great enrollment for next year.
Yeah.
The most important part is that we're open.
Yeah.
And that we're open and people are looking to put their kids in school. I'm sure you have experience with remote learning. Remote learning can be very challenging, and a lot of kids just can't really cope with it all.
Right, it's
They're
tough.
talking about the psychological effects of remote learning. So I encourage every Sunday, enroll your kids in Catholic schools. There are some parishes or some schools, academies, that have waiting lists.
Right.
And isn't that a wonderful headache? A waiting list.
It's a problem you want to have.
I would love to have more of those.
So the diocese has declared 2021 as a year of renewal. What does this mean for students in our Catholic schools?
Well, I think basically we have a gem in Catholic education. We have a gem, and our schools teach values, teach faith, teach religion, teach respect, teach love. And we need to get that message out. So if we make a concerted effort on the part of all the pastors, all the principals, all the teachers, that we are in a year of renewal. Reach out to the young people. Reach out to the new immigrant. We're doing a tremendous effort in reaching out to Hispanic children in our diocese. We've spearheaded a new movement with Hispanics and Haitian children to invite them to our schools, to help them with tuition assistance, and to bring them into the schools. Because, first of all, that population is tremendously Catholic, and we need to reach out to them.
So, as you know, I went to St. Rita's for elementary school.
Do I remember?
I went to St. Francis Prep for high school. So I truly believe it made me a better person to go to Catholic schools here in the Diocese of Brooklyn. So I see you put out a call on social media asking graduates of Catholic schools to share their experiences. Why?
To tell their story, to bring that message out to others. Because today it costs money. It's, you know, it might be not as simple as it was when I went or when you went, and to bring that message out, let other people know the whole beauty, the story of the value of Catholic education. I would put my own vocation on the Catholic school that I went to when I was a kid. I went to Holy Family in Canarsie, and I would say the Franciscan Sisters of Ringwood were the greatest influence in my vocation to be a priest. And I would say we need to work on religious vocations, you know, and this Catholic school is the growth of a vocation.
All right, Monsignor David Casado, Vicar for Catholic Schools in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Thanks so much for being here.
And thank you, Christine.
Both Currents News and The Tablet will continue to bring you full coverage of Catholic Schools Week. Be sure to check out currentsny.tv and thetablet.org as we highlight the spiritual and academic benefits of a Catholic education. Over in Michigan, the Archdiocese of Detroit is encouraging a return to in-person Mass starting on March 13th. Detroit, along with other dioceses, suspended public liturgies last year in response to the pandemic, and many went virtual. Now that the dispensation from the obligation is set to expire, Archbishop Alan Vigneron is calling on Catholics to attend Mass on Sundays and holy days. The Archbishop said he will continue to grant particular dispensations to those in need, including those who are at high risk for COVID-19. Coming up on Currents News, a discovery 200 years in the making off the Cape, pirate remains.
In a place called the Graveyard of the North Atlantic, there were so many shipwrecks there.
And then history in the heart of Brooklyn. We're taking a look at a community that was a haven for free African Americans way before the Civil War. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. Check this this out. The skeletal remains of at least 6 pirates have been discovered off the coast of Cape Cod in an area that experts say is filled with artifacts.
When the ship wrecked, it went onto a sandbar in this very ferocious storm in 1717. And the ship turned upside down and everything in the ship fell into the sand in a place called the Graveyard of the North Atlantic. There were so many shipwrecks there.
Wow. An investigative team is working to identify the remains of the pirates. While they say the process will take several years, they hope to trace them to their living relatives. Now to a little history right here in Brooklyn as we continue our coverage of Black History Month. It's a 200-year-old neighborhood that played a critical role in the lives of African Americans 11 years after slavery was abolished in New York. A community preserved for all of us to experience. Currents News' Emily Drewby reports from Crown Heights.
So they began to market this area through the growing network of Black newspapers, saying, come, we're building this community.
It was one of the first communities for free Black Americans in the nation, Weeksville.
It had its own school, it had its own newspaper, it had a baseball team.
Now this almost 200-year-old neighborhood is preserved for all to experience at Weeksville Heritage Center in Crown Heights. Historic houses basically untouched by time.
It's a piece of history that's still alive, that's still there, it's tangible, you can see it, you can touch it.
The original Weeksville community was established in 1838, 11 years after slavery was abolished in New York State.
John Lefferts of the Lefferts family dies, and his heirs find out that their family is land rich but cash poor. So they begin a process of, starting to sell off parcels of land.
Some sold to James Weeks, who helped create Weeksville. It was a safe haven for freed Black Americans created during a time when slavery was still legal in many areas.
This was all very much a secluded area.
Safety which fostered success. The neighborhood produced influential members of society, like the first Black female doctor in New York. The community thrived too. It had a school, its own newspaper, and 3 Christian churches.
Weeksville represents Black people trying to live out the American dream. They were trying to be self-sufficient. They were trying to be entrepreneurial.
The Weeksville Heritage Center now protects this important history and teaches it to others, conducting tours on Saturdays during Black History Month, creating more opportunity to introduce the world to this hidden historical gem. In Crown Heights, Brooklyn, Emily Drewby, Currents News.
Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, tours like the one Emily went on last year have been suspended until further notice. But a 360 virtual tour of the houses and accompanying workshops are coming to the Weeksville website. So make sure to visit weeksvillesociety.org this Black History Month. And also paying tribute to generations of African Americans, the Brooklyn Diocese will be celebrating its Black History Month Mass on Sunday, February 28th. It will air live on Net TV from the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph at 3 p.m. Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio will be the main celebrant. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.